I know someone who is rarely wrong, not because he's always right, but turns out he's become very skilled at finding reasons why things aren't his fault. If something didn't work out, there's always an explanation. Either someone didn't come through, the timing wasn't right, or perhaps the opportunity was never really fair to begin with. Now, on the surface, it sounds like clarity, but underneath, I think there's something going on. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Ashford. In most social circles, there's usually someone like this person. Let's call this person James. Now, James is functional. He works, he provides for his family. From the outside, things appear stable. But over the years, something in him has quietly shifted. He's become harder to reach. Conversations with him feel guarded. If you offer a different perspective, he'll find a way to explain why it doesn't apply. Now, he doesn't argue, he just deflects and then he'll withdraw. Most of us know someone like this. Some of us have been this person. But James didn't start out this way. Growing up, he was a very different person. He was open, trusting, and willing to let people in. But somewhere along the way, perhaps life disappointed him. Things didn't pan out the way he expected. Probably his career didn't take off, or his relationships didn't hold. Doors he thought would open stayed shut. And slowly, without realizing, something inside him began to harden. When you've been let down enough times, distrust starts to feel like wisdom. Slowly, a pattern emerges. You start building walls around you. You keep pushing people out of your life, and your internal dialogue is, I have to do it all by myself because I simply cannot trust anyone. And when things go wrong, you look outward because looking inward is painful. Blame becomes easier than ownership. Not because you're dishonest, but because owning your story means feeling the weight of it. And some of us have been carrying this weight so long that we'd rather point to someone else than sit with it. But here's what it costs him. When blame becomes your first response, you give your power away. Every time you say, they didn't, or it wasn't fair, or it's because of what happened to me, you place your story in someone else's hands and you stay stuck, waiting for an apology that may never come, waiting for circumstances to change, waiting for life to finally give you what it owes. But life does not always give us what we hope for, and people will continue to disappoint. At some point, healing stops being about what happened to us. It becomes about what we choose to do next. So the only person who can pick up your story and walk forward with it is you. And that's not harsh, that's the truth. And that, my friends, is freedom. But there's another cost too. The walls that protect you from disappointment also protect you from intimacy. James is rarely hurt, but he's also rarely known. People respect him, but fewer people feel close to him. He's safe, but the truth is, he's all alone. And deep down, I don't think that's what he wants. So here's a silver lining. Faith offers another way to understand seasons like this. There is a moment in the Gospels where a paralyzed man awaits by the pool, hoping that someone will move him into the waters and he'll be healed. But when Christ encounters him, his question to him is, do you want to be well? Not who hurt you, not why you're here, just, do you want to move forward? Now the invitation is ownership. It's not guilt, it's not shame. Just, will you pick up your mat and walk? For many of us, that's the hardest question to answer. But here's something that might help. First, notice where blame has become your resting place. Is there a situation you keep rehearsing in your mind where someone else is always the reason why things didn't work out? Now you may be right, they may have failed you. But ask yourself, has holding on to this helped me move forward, or has it kept me stuck? Second, try completing this sentence honestly. If I stop blaming others, I would have to face. And don't rush the answer, just let it surface. What we avoid owning often reveals what we are afraid to feel. And third, take one small step of ownership this week. Now, it could be an apology you've resisted making, a decision you've been avoiding, a responsibility you've quietly handed to someone else. Let it be small, but let it be real. Ownership is a muscle. It strengthens with practice. James still goes to work. He still keeps his life running. But lately, He's started to catch himself mid-sentence, noticing when he's about to explain why something isn't his fault. He hasn't changed dramatically, but he's begun to pause. And in that pause, something new is becoming possible. Not perfection, but honesty. And from honesty, perhaps a way forward. If you've spent years protecting yourself from disappointment, perhaps the next step isn't to trust everyone again instantly. Maybe it's simply to own your story, even the painful parts, because that's where true freedom begins. So take this thought with you this week, and if you know someone who's quietly become unreachable, not out of arrogance, but perhaps out of pain, you may want to share this reflection with them. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, cheers and God bless.